MV AGUSTA F3 675. Best Motorcycle Review. Engine feature counter-rotating crank, 2012 to 2021. The MV AGUSTA F3 675 has all the makings of a class-leading supersports machine. It's much more powerful than its rivals, is lighter and has a host of electronic rider aids, from riding modes to electronic engine braking control, variable power maps and traction control. It has a counter-rotating crankshaft, like the factory Yamaha YZR-M1 MotoGP racer, is one of the best-looking motorcycle creations ever, and its 3-cylinder motor has a rasping engine note to die for. But it's flawed. Hard as it is to believe, the power delivery is rough, with holes, dips and stutters throughout the rev range. The 109 brake horsepower Suzuki GSX-R 600 is faster, does the quarter-mile quicker and stops sooner, which goes to show how a smooth bike is always a fast one. Ride quality and brakes. Tubular steel trellis frame, with varying thickness tubes for rigidity and flex, and an aluminium alloy single-sided swingarm. The wheelbase is just 1,380 mm, the Daytona 675s is 1,395 mm, dry weight is 173 kg, the Triumph's wet weight is 185 kg. 43 mm Marzocchi forks and a Sachs rear shock are both fully adjustable. Forged aluminium alloy wheels are shod with Pirelli Diallo Rosso Corsa rubber, 120/70x70 front, 180/55x17 rear. It's Pirelli's top-level road tire, giving good grip, feel and warm-up times in all conditions. The rear tire has a slick edge for increased grip and a sticky SC2 compound. The treaded center is a harder compound for durability. The F3 is very light and feels every inch a proper racing machine. It's stable in fast corners, the brakes are some of the best in the business, and it's comfortable for such a petite-looking bike. The faster the terrain, the more the F3 likes it, but like the engine, the chassis isn't suited to normal riding. It has a very harsh setup, which crashes and kicks its bars over bumps. A supersport bike like this doesn't need traction control, so it's best to just turn the system off. Engine. Inline 3-cylinder, 675 cubic centimeters, with counter-rotating crankshaft, titanium inlet and exhaust valves and a ride-by-wire throttle system. The engine has the smallest overall dimensions of any of its super sports rivals. Breathing through Mikuni 50mm throttle bodies, it's the most powerful too, producing 128 brake horsepower at the crank and 118 brake horsepower at the rear wheel, at a heady 14,400 RPM. The engine weighs just 52 kilograms and has an over square 79 by 45.9 mm bore and stroke. The Triumph Daytona 675s is 74 mm x 52.3 mm. The F3 has sport, normal, rain and custom riding modes. Within each of the first 3 modes there are predetermined levels of throttle sensitivity, engine torque, engine braking, engine responsiveness and an RPM limit. The custom mode lets you dial in these parameters specifically to suit you. Ride the F3 at high revs on track or a superfast road and it's glorious. It has lots of power and a good throttle connection, but at normal speeds the fueling and throttle response is terrible. You have to slip the clutch and dial in big revs through town to keep it running, like an old 2-stroke, and the power doesn't come in predictably accelerating out of corners. On top of all that, the electronic engine braking control opens the throttle butterflies into corners to stop the F3 backing in, but in reality it makes the bike accelerate alarmingly when you've got the throttle shut. Reliability and build quality. There's no question it's beautifully built and well finished. Many current MV owners complain of spare parts supply, let's hope it will be different for the F3. Value versus rivals. If it wasn't for the poor running issues, which we've experienced on a number of different F3s, MV's new creation would be fantastic value for money. There's definitely a great bike lurking in there, beneath the problems. As it is, it would need work from a specialist to get running properly, which isn't what you'd expect from a new bike. During the F3's lifespan it faced plenty of 4-cylinder, 600 cubic centimeters super sport rivals, however there was only one other 3-cylinder option, the Triumph Daytona 675. Equipment. This is the most highly spec supersports bike you can buy, with its electronics, fully adjustable suspension and Brembo brakes. It's true exotica, without the over-the-top price tag. Specs. Engine size 675 cubic centimeters. Engine type 12V, inline 3-cylinder. Frame type tubular steel trellis frame with ollie side plates. Double-sided aluminium swing arm. Fuel capacity 16 liters. Seat height 805 millimeters. Bike weight 173 kilograms. Front suspension fully adjustable Marzocchi 43 millimeters upside down forks. Rear suspension fully adjustable Sachs shock. Front brake 2x 320 mm discs with four-piston Brembo radial calipers. Rear brake 220 mm single disc with twin-piston Brembo caliper. Front tire size 120/70x17. Rear tire size 180/55x17.